Hi guys, thanks for joining me again. This is a continued series on grammar in English as we learn to develop it either as a second language or just practice what we hopefully should have already learned just for the future as reference. Anywho, so today it's pretty simple. We're just going to discuss the three articles in English which are known as a, an, and the. And there are some distinctions between them, or among them, I should say. And if you look at my screen, and you're going to have to forgive me, I'm trying a new format. Hopefully this helps to expedite the process of producing videos and uploading them. So I'll be using a screen capture and superimposing that on the screen. So anywho, you didn't need to know that, but here we are. All right, so looking at the screen, you'll notice that I have the listed as what's known as a definite article, and I'll explain. While a and an, which are interchangeable, are identified as an indefinite article. Okay, so just to clarify, when you have a definite article, it refers to, I'll just type that one. So it refers to something specific, all right? So if you see it used in a sentence, and I should also add, all articles will point towards a noun. And so a definite article, so in this case the, will point towards a specific noun, right? And we'll talk more about that. Whereas an indefinite, article, actually refers to general nouns. So general nouns. Again, they all operate in the same way insofar as the, a, and an are all talking about a noun in the use of the, while in use within a sentence. However, the distinction is the points to a specific noun, and again, a and an, which are interchangeable, but there is a rule behind when to use one over the other, refer to a general noun. Well, what's a general noun? We'll talk about a and an first. General noun is simply that. It's just a basic noun. It's usually without a name. Let me rephrase. It's not without a name per se. It's just, it doesn't comment on anything in particular. Okay? So I'll just write that in. Nothing in particular. And let's go over some examples. So examples, we have a crayon will help me complete this this project. Sorry, I'm coming up with these on the fly. I'm trying to be creative. All right, so a crayon will help me complete this project. So I'm just referring to the noun crayon, which I'll italicize, and a points to that noun, right? Whereas if I were to say, the cat ate a crayon while I was working on this project. It's a very bad kitty. Actually, I have two articles used in this sentence, so it's a good example. So while I have the definite article referring to the noun cat, so I'm talking about a cat, which in the context of the sentence suggests a mutual understanding among those talking about which cat is being discussed, all right? So the cat ate, oops, I misspelled it, sorry, ate a crayon, right? So I didn't say it was the green crayon, I didn't say it was the red crayon, the yellow crayon, or any particular crayon. It's just a general crayon, general noun in this case. Whereas here, which I'm highlighting, so the cat is commenting on a specific cat. I should also say, I'm not sure I brought this up as a rule, but the use of a and an. When do I use a? When do I use an? It's pretty simple. You just have to be a little bit mindful of what's going on. But you would use a, so I'll even write that down. So you would use a, right? So when the noun is general and when the word preceding it, so coming after, begins with a consonant. What's a consonant? Consonant, just as a quick reminder, are actually the easiest thing you can use to remember what a consonant is just to know that it's any letter in the alphabet, oops, I should just use that, which isn't a vowel. Okay, so that means you would use an when the word preceding, so coming after, it begins with a vowel. right? Why am I putting that in quotes? Let me take those off. When it begins with a vowel. And as a reminder, a vowel can be A, E, I, O, oops, or U, sometimes Y, but much less often. So again, if it's a vowel, or the noun begins with a vowel in this case, or the word following the article begins with a vowel, you're going to use an, always, all right? If it begins with a consonant, so if it doesn't begin with a vowel, essentially, those 5, then you would just use the article a. Unless, of course, in the sentence, the context of the sentence, you are commenting on something specific, in which case you would use neither because they are general or indefinite articles, and you would use the instead. So let's dive into some examples. So I'll use the definite article, the elephant, hit the bike, then a paint, oops, then the bike fell into a pit, so just any pit, and inside the pit was an, let's say an alarm. Sorry, these sentences make no sense, but let's take a quick look at this word salad. All right, so we have the article, the definite article, referring to an, oops, my goodness. All right, referring to the elephant, which again, this suggests a mutual understanding of which elephant is being discussed, right? Hit the bike, so it hit the bike. I'm also referring to a specific bike. When the bike, oops, I'm not even being consistent. When the bike, so still referring to that same bike, fell into a pit, right? Just a pit in general, which is like a hole, a large gaping hole in the ground. And inside the pit, and we'll talk about why I'm using the instead, was an alarm. And you'll notice that alarm begins with the letter A, which is a vowel. So I know to use an. Now, really quick, what I want to do is I want to point out, hopefully I can highlight, perfect. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this particular portion of the sentence because this is actually a rule I'd like to discuss. So you'll notice that first I refer to a pit, so I use the general or indefinite article a to refer to the pit. And yet in the second part of that sentence, or the second part of that thought, which I've highlighted, I say, and inside the pit, instead of saying inside a pit, you would think, because you'd want to be consistent, since I used a before, why am I now being specific with this pit in the next part? Well, the rule is if I've identified this noun using a as the article, the second time you refer to that same noun, it is now, through mutual understanding in the context of the sentence, a known or specified element, right? So you wouldn't use a again. In this case, you would use the pit, because I'm talking about the pit I just discussed with you earlier, right? Very confusing, at least the way that I've shown you. So let's try another one with that rule. An example I have is a cat. Well, let's do this one. The cat ran into a door, and then the door now has a mark on it. Okay, so I didn't end the sentence, I just broke it up. So here I have the definite article, the, referring to the noun cat. So this cat, right, it ran into a door, just any door in the house, right? I'm not telling you which one. It's the front door, the garage door, the kitchen door, whatever. But still talking about this door, which I'll highlight, I now refer to it as the door. And again, this is a rule. The reason being is this general door, this non-specified door I was just talking about, is now being referenced a second time, which means through the second reference in the sentence, based on this conversation, based on the way I'm using it, you should know that the door I'm referring to earlier is the door. So I'm referring to the door generally, the door that I mentioned generally earlier. So it is technically pointing towards a specific door. Which door? Oh, the general door, the one that I just talked about. Hopefully that helps to clarify it. Sorry. English is a fun language. All right. All right. So I'm just going to scroll up to the top. Just as a reminder, and I'll hopefully try to highlight this. Let's see. Let's use green. Nice pukey green. All right. So we have the article the, which is a definite article. Again, definite articles can only be used when you're referring to a specific noun, right? One that is understood, one that through context, everyone or whoever in this conversation or a conversation would be aware of what you're talking about. Whereas a and an are indefinite articles, so they refer to general nouns. They're not specific. They're just talking about whatever that noun is, not anything in particular. Hopefully this helps, and if not, please let me know. Feel free to leave a comment. I'll link this Google Doc, which is not the most elegant, but I'll link this Google Doc as a reference if you'd like to use it for notes. But beyond that, appreciate you guys being here, appreciate you taking part, and I look forward to the next one. All right, let me go ahead and just